Hello and welcome back to Hidden Blessings Homestead. Today we're going to be doing two recipes from Pamona's website, slightly adapted. The thing I love about Pamona is you can use as much sweetener or as little sweetener as you like. So let's get started. So before we make the jam, we're just going to mix half a teaspoon of the calcium powder that comes along with Pamona Pectin into a half a cup of water. So it's a half a teaspoon for half a cup. And then once we've stirred that up good, we're going to just set that aside for now. So we've got our jars warming in the oven. We have our frozen fruit is now defrosted. It's not boiling yet. And we've got our, oh dear, I need an oven mitt. We've got our new, I should get a full shot in here, our new Amish canner on the stove, preheating the water. I don't know, with the steam you probably aren't going to get a good view in there, but well, there we go. So that's just preheating a bit of water, so I don't have to try to heat it all at once. And for our first batch, we're going to make a cherry peach jam that doesn't require sweetener. And then after that, I'm going to make the ginger peach jam again because we loved it so much that we've finished it all off. So we have approximately 2 cups of warmed up cherries, and I tried mashing and cherries don't mash very well. So I'm just going to quickly pulse them and hope for the right texture. Ooh, I will be putting the lid on. That looks pretty good. All right, so I'm just gonna re-measure and make sure we got 2 cups here. If not, I'm gonna add a little peach to it because this was 1 package of frozen cherries. It's really close, so I'm just going to add a little bit of peach. So we put our peaches in, where I put a little over 2 cups because it's supposed to be 2 and 2. So since we were a little low on the cherries, we're going to have a little extra peach. I'm going to try to do the same thing, save a little time. Looks good to me. Alright, so we're going to bring this up to the 2 cup mark, which is right there. Pour it in our pan. And then I'm going to put the rest in. And it's close. I'm not going to worry if there's a little extra. All right, so we're adding 4 teaspoons of calcium water, to our mashed fruit. And 1/4 cup of bottled lemon juice. We have put, the original recipe calls for apple juice concentrate, but we have, well, just white grape juice, so that's what we're going to use. So we've put 1 cup of it in a blender, and we're going to put in 3 teaspoons of Pamona Pectin. And we are just going to blend that up. And it is fully combined. Now we're going to pour it in with our fruit mixture. And we're going to bring that back to a boil. So we're just going to stir that continually for about a minute until it comes to a full rolling boil again. So we have reached a full rolling boil, and we're going to turn the burner off and pour it into our already pre-warmed jars. As you can see, it makes a small batch. So now we're on to our ginger peach jam. We have hopefully we've put the fruit in the blender because squishing hot peaches is not something I like to do. And I think the texture will be fine. But if you have fresh peaches, definitely you want to mash them. So that's 2 cups. And 4 cups. We have been just loving this jam. For the original recipe, I'll put a link. All right. Now we have to add to that 4 teaspoons of calcium water. One teaspoon of ginger. The original recipe calls for candied ginger. You can also use freshly grated ginger. Now we're going to add a 1/4 cup of bottled lemon juice. So now we're going to have, you can do a 1/2 to a whole cup of honey. I'm probably going to do a 1/2. We're going to put our 3 teaspoons of pectin into the honey and mix it well. Now if you were choosing to use stevia instead of the honey, or if you were choosing to just sweeten it with fruit juice, you would want to put it in the blender like we did the last time, the pectin powder with some fruit, and blend it up a little bit. But because we have a sweetener, you could use sugar, you could use honey, maple syrup. You can mix it in with that and then pour it in. Stir it in, make sure it's a rolling boil, and then we can pour it into our jars. I'm going to fill them to a 1/4 headspace. We'll have to top up the last ones a little bit. I kind of like to let it settle with all the bubbles coming out and then see where we're at. So on Pamona's website, the batches are for the 1/2 pints. So that's why it's not working out perfectly for our pint jars. But we are just going to keep going until we have all our jars full, and then we'll come back. So we are done the batches of jam. I managed to be just 1 jar shy of a full canner, but I'm going to go ahead anyways. We just wiped the rim, putting the lids on. You just want to hand tighten. And then we're going to cool our water bath off a little bit. You don't want it to be boiling hot, and at this point it is. So I'm just going to show you something that I realized about the canner. You have to be very careful. I was trying to avoid tilting it away from me because of this being here, and my oven mitt wasn't long enough. As you can see, when I reach for that handle, my oven mitt only reaches the edge of the lid. And so when I lifted, I actually burned my arm. It's not looking too bad. I've been keeping it cold, but you can see it. So first of all, since I'm done using the rest of my stove, I think I'm going to turn my canner to make this a little easier on me. And that way I can open it this way and away from me. You can see there is a lot of hot steam there. So just be careful when you're doing that. And so our water got a little hotter than I wanted it to. So I'm just going to add some cold water. You do not want to add those jars to boiling hot water. And that should be enough. We just wanted to kind of match the temperature of the jars. All right. Kind of funny, it's wobbling. And we definitely could have fit in a few more, but we ran out of peaches. So wow. This is awesome. So I've preheated some water, not like boiling hot. And then I'm going to add it in. We want there to be 1 inch to 2 inches of water above them. So I'm going to need a little more. That should be good there. So we're going to put the lid on. And we're going to let this come to a rolling boil. And when it has come to a rolling boil, we're going to start timing 10 minutes. And then you add 1 minute for every 1,000 feet above sea level. So for us, it's going to be 14 minutes total. So our time is up. And a couple things I thought I would mention. If you're using this Amish canner on a wood cook stove like I am, and this is the first time I've used it, it's incredibly heavy, and they absolutely do not suggest, they tell you not to try to move it with the canner full of water and jars. So even just to have it maintain the proper boil, I had to move it from this side all the way over there, shut down the damper, shut down the stove itself, and so we were able to maintain a rolling boil, not a boil that I was afraid was going to break my jars. Now the time is up, and I got to try to figure out how. They say to empty the water out, but as I'm starting to empty the water, that's going to, usually I would leave my jars, turn the burners off, leave my jars for a couple minutes, take the lid off, leave them a little bit more, and then take them out so that they didn't siphon. So now I'm thinking I have to try to put a trivet underneath and maybe add some cooler water carefully in order to get the temperature down. I'm not sure. We will see. I'll let you know. Well, all our jam jars sealed last night and it is looking good. I'm excited. And I have to say, overall, it was really nice to just have to do one batch. Next is pears, and I'm going to be able to do a whole lot of pears at once. And that, to me, is going to be so much more efficient. So I'm really enjoying the canner. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can see more great videos. Have a blessed day.